G'day and happy Cocktail Fridays. As always, I'm your host Troy. Today I'm joined by
Nathan Harvey. G'day. How are you, Troy?
Thanks,
G'day,
Nate.
folks.
What are we making today?
My famous secret recipe, Espresso Martini. And yeah, I was told never to give away this recipe by Dave Evans from Hugo's in Manly.
Espresso?
This recipe calls for
Patron XL, which is a tequila-based coffee liqueur.
absolute vanilla vodka, which is vodka infused with vanilla, of course, and sugar syrup, which you can buy, but you can make it yourself way cheaper.
And coffee beans for espresso.
Today we're using Darker Side from the Killer Coffee Company, which is roasted with the souls of your enemies. The best way to do it is to use an espresso machine, but if you don't, you can still do it with your capsules that you have and everything as well. But you never use instant coffee because you just don't get any froth and you may as well not even make it. Yeah, always the best to have an espresso machine, or you can just go down to your local cafe. All my friends call it the attitude adjuster because you have it on a Friday afternoon after a long week and it instantly changes your attitude. You're like, bing, yeah, let's go.
Into a shaker, add
3 of the Absolute, and then bring over the coffee and 1 of the Patron XL. So with the sugar syrup, it's 10 mils. Then we'll get this whole mixture and straight into the shaker. So while I'm doing it, I like to sing that song, shake, 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 shake your booty, shake your booty. Now when you're doing the actual pouring, it's really important you go from one to the other because otherwise you won't get a good froth. And then of course you garnish it with a coffee bean. And if you want to be a bit of a wanker, you can sprinkle a little bit of nutmeg on it as well. Cheers, mate.
Cheers. Nathan's here to promote his new band. We're going to have a bit of a chat to him and enjoy this drink. So you can either see us next time or stick around and hear what Nathan's got to say.
Yeah, sure.
Cheers.
Cheers, mate. Beautiful. Great way to end the week, I reckon, with a nice espresso martini. And
On a very happy Friday. Tell everyone a little bit about your history. As some people might know, this is Nathan Heartthrob Harvey, professional model and international extraordinaire.
Well, it was funny. I sort of fell into it all because I grew up on the northern beaches of Sydney and I was into my surfing, footy, all that kind of stuff. And I played actually New South Wales schoolboys and I was actually approached by an old 5th grade school teacher whose friend was a casting consultant. She said, go and audition for this ad. And my brother got it, but they said that both of us should go and join an agency. And, you know, I was like 16 and going to school and I started doing these commercials. And, you know, at the time I was working in a mini market for like probably $5 an hour. And then suddenly I was getting a couple of $1,000s for an ad. I went, oh, this is pretty cool. And so I kept doing it. So I never really had any aspirations to become well known or anything. But after a couple of years of doing it here in Australia, once school was over, I went to London and I was on the front cover of all these little teeny magazines in London and came back to Australia, and that's when it all really took off. And it was fun, but you know, I was still playing footy for a while and people would recognise me and go, you're that guy on the ad, and they'd like stomp on my head and then I'd go to do an ad or something and the director would be fuming because I have stud marks all over my face. And there was no such thing as Photoshop back then or anything. So I sort of made a decision whether to keep on playing rugby or to pursue the career of modelling. And I did that. And then from there, I went on to television. My mates and I shot a pilot. And the guy who edited it is now David Fincher's editor on 2 Oscars. And that's Kirk. And the guy who filmed it, Dave Houseman, is an IMAX cinematographer. So it's been an interesting journey, and I gave it all up in around about 2000 because I decided I'd had enough and wanted to live a bit more of a normal life. So yeah, it's been interesting.
And I remember a story about you going surfing with Richie Sambora or teaching him how to surf. Yeah,
well, I was pretty loose back in the day, and when I was working for Channel V, I definitely burnt the candles at both ends. And the funny thing about it was that I don't even remember taking him for a surf. It was my mum that reminded me that I took him for a surf. So I've been out on and the story alone is really funny because I was voted Girlfriend Model of the Year 3 years running, and Girlfriend ran a competition when Bon Jovi were touring Australia, and says who wants to meet Bon Jovi backstage at their concerts, and they were only playing it in Perth and Adelaide, and the promos in Sydney, and so the girls that won that competition, and then they ran another competition and said who would you like to introduce you to Bon Jovi? Guess who won? Me. So I ended up going on tour with Bon Jovi around Australia, and I was staying in the same hotel room as them, and so I was coming out of the room going, hey Richie, hey Bon, hey Tico, and I forgot the bass player's name. Everyone always forgets the bass player's name.
Alec
yeah,
John Suck.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah. Who cares? It's a bass player.
Only 4 strings.
And so I've been on an all-night bender with Richie Zambora, and I rock up at Mum and Dad's house at 7:30 in the morning to pick up a surfboard. And Mum's there standing in the kitchen in a pink nightie. She was a huge Bon Jovi fan. She's going, oh my God, it's Richie Zambora. Pew, she ran away. And that's the only way I remembered that I actually took Richie Zambora surfing.
Right. Tell us about your new endeavours with music, mate.
Yeah, well, it was funny because after I left modelling, I went to SeaWorld and I hosted the shows at SeaWorld for a while, and I ended up becoming a professional water skier, believe it or not.
Wow.
And I learned everything at SeaWorld. And what happened is that they canned the water ski show at SeaWorld, and I went to water ski in Canada. I ended up breaking my neck, and I came home to Australia, and I've got a metal plate and 4 screws in my neck here holding it together. And I came home to Australia, and I was at a bit of a loss what to do, and I ended up getting a job with Virgin, pushing back planes for Virgin Australia. But at the same time, I moved in with a guy who was a guitarist, and so I picked up a guitar at 45, and I'm 53 now, and I found my passion, and that's writing music and writing songs. And so I've released an EP. I've been signed by Foghorn just down the road, which is Damien Gerard's, and I've only released an EP through it, and I've had 1 song played on Triple M, which was pretty awesome.
Congratulations.
So I was stoked about that. And and I've just put together a little folk band, and it's called Folk Like These, and we've got a cellist in there, a flautist, a fiddler. So we're going to call ourselves the flautist and the fiddler, but we're called Folk Like These, and we've got a gig coming up 2nd of March at the local brewery here at Kincumber.
So
the Block and Tackle.
And what are the details for the gig, Nathan?
It's on Sunday, the 2nd of March. It goes from 3 till 5 or 2:30 till 5, because I always say 2:30. Mainly because my band members might be late, but for the punters as well, because I always like to say a little bit earlier, because it's always good if the punters turn up, and I love to have a chat with them and get to know them before the gig, and I think it makes it a much more personalised experience as well, and it gives everyone a bit of time to chill out before we go on and say good day. So
yeah, and for those who don't know, the Block and Tackle is a small brewery in Kincumber, just near the roundabout there. And it is good to get there early to reserve a seat, but also to enjoy a few beers, get yourself in the mood, maybe have a pizza or 2 and support a local business.
That's right, and they've got really nice handcrafted beer, and pizzas are great too. And not only that, but it's a vibrant music scene here in the Central Coast. It's funny.
It really is.
You go to Sydney, and it's a big city, and everyone's a little bit more detached, whereas we have a really good community happening here at the Central Coast, where there's a few bands and people playing in bands, and we all go and support each other's gigs. So you're never playing to an empty room, which we've all done before in the past.
Well, I'll be there, and I agree that the Central Coast is a very nicely tight-knit but open network. Lots of people are very welcome up here. We'd love to see more bands up here as well, but if you can make it to Nathan's gig, I'm sure he'll appreciate it. I'll be there, sampling the beverages.
Yeah, and you know what? The people that are coming are all really nice people as well. It's a vibrant community, and it's really rare, I think, and really special. What's going on up here. So it's fantastic to be a part of it, and I'm learning so much, because all the musicians I'm playing with, like our cellist, has played massive orchestras and stuff, and she can just tune everything by ear and pick out chords for us, and so it's like beauty. And I'm learning heaps, and this man himself's an amazing musician. So
I try.
He's part of it as well, and we really do enjoy it. So
thanks, Nathan.
Great.
Thank you, everyone, and happy Cocktail Friday.
Happy Cocktail Friday.
Cheers.
Thanks, Troy. Thanks so much.
No worries.
Bye.
Bye.